Everyone, and welcome to another STS activity. Today we're going to have our oral presentation of activity number 4. My members are Dana Pasco, Yvonne Tabudlong, and yours truly, Ivy Joy Balendres. The given activity was about the government policies that protect the well-being of the person in the new phase of the new technologies. So first, let's define the law. A law is a rule or set of rules for good behavior which is considered right and important by the majority of people for moral and religious emotional reasons. Another definition of the law is that it is defined by Oxford as the system of rules to which a particular country or community recognizes as regulating the action of its members and which may express by the imposition of penalties. Our beloved country, the Philippines. The Philippines is a democratic country. And one important feature of a democratic state is that the people get to enjoy the rights and privileges. And as a democratic state, our country guarantees its citizens certain individual rights, which are stipulated in Article 3, Bill of Rights of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The 1987 Philippine Constitution, Bill of Rights, is a statement and listing of an individual's rights and privileges which the fundamental law of the land is designed to safeguard against violation of the government or by an individual or group of individuals. It is also defined as a charter embodying the liberties of a person and the limitations upon the power of state. The Bill of Rights, which comes after the Declaration of Principles and State Policies in the 1987 Constitution, is a significant part of the framework for the protection of human rights in the Philippines. It is approved by the 1986 Constitutional Commission on October 12, 1986, and the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines was presented to President Corazon Aquino on October 15, 1986 and was ratified on February 2, 1987 by a plebiscite. The Bill of Rights has 22 sections. Now, we choose the Article 3, Section 3 for our presentation, which states that the privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable except upon lawful order of the court or when public safety or order requires, otherwise as prescribed by law. 2. Any evidence obtained in violation of this or the preceding section shall be inadmissible for any purpose and any proceedings. Sa madaling salita, as translated in Tagalog, hindi dapat labagin ang pagiging lihim ng komunikasyon at korespondensya maliban sa legal na utos ng hukuman o kapag hinihingi ang naiibang kaligtasan o kaayusan ng bayan ayon sa tinakda ng batas. 2. Hindi dapat tanggapin para sa anumang layunin sa alinmang kalabagan sa paglilitis ang anumang ebidensya na nakuha ng labag dito o sa sinusundang seksyon. Ano ba ang punto ng law na ito? The right to privacy to one's own letter is the main legal basis for the assumption of privacy of correspondence. Sa madaling salita, ang pagbubukas ng liham na hindi nakapangalan sa iyo is already a crime. For the communication naman, mga phone calls, sa madaling salita, ang pakikinig hindi pwedeng pakinggan ng gobyerno o hindi pwedeng makinig ang gobyerno sa mga pribadong usapan ng bawat Pilipino. Even if it is through the post mails before and of course to the evolvement of the different technology, naging email na ito. So, this is considered a crime kung bubuksan mo ito nang hindi talaga nakapangalan sa'yo. And also, our private communications gamit ang ating cellphones. So, in the context of digital privacy, communication privacy is the notions that individuals should have the freedom or right to communicate information digitally with the expectation that their communications are secure, meaning that messages and communications will only be accessible to sender's original intended recipient. So I have a quick trivia. I have read some articles about this, that the concept of privacy is already been there even before. So it is also been practiced for quite some times. So may nabasa ako, this is from an article, na ito si Prophet Balaam. Prophet Balaam is a wicked prophet. He was sent to curse the Israelites. But after that, he was able to, instead of cursing them, he was able to appreciate and bless the Israelites because he saw the tents of the Israelites na hindi siya nakaharap sa isa't isa. Yung doors ng tents nila ay hindi nakaharap sa isa't isa. Therefore, they are already been practicing the concept of privacy. So, nakatalikod siya as what you have seen in the picture. Now, the concept of privacy is also stated in Holy Quran by the Prophet Muhammad. And Samuel D. Warren and Louis Brandeis, 1890, are lawmakers. They published The Right to Privacy in the Harvard Law Review, which defines that privacy is the right to be alone. And since then, numerous individuals, organizations, and world bodies have proposed their own definitions of privacy. So in the emergence of technology in the later 1960s, so did the need for more detailed rules that protect individuals by protecting their personal data. So, as of konting trivia, as of January 2021, the Philippines has already have 73.91 million internet users and had increased at 4.2 million users between 2020 and 2021. So, umabot na tayo ng 67% sa ating internet penetration. And this info was posted by published by Statistical Research Development on September 2021. So, these are the top social media platforms. The Facebook, that is all, halos lahat ay gumagamit, which covers the 99%. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. So, aside from the communication purposes, prepaid cell phones has been also used as detonation devices for bombs. That is why dapat talaga magkaroon ng higpit na pag-i-impose ng law na ito. So, natatandaan nyo pa ba, in the Philippines, there is a bomb inside a bus along EDSA, a major thoroughfare in Metro Manila, and was detonated by a cell phone. So, although there are many legitimate users of the prepaid cell phones, they have become the communication device of choice for some criminals, including terrorists, drug lords, and gangs intent on masking their identities. And that is why meron tayong different amendments of some laws. And of course, sa business, maraming amendments in relation to the technology and the privacy. So, that is why si President Duterte, he signed the bill na yung SIM card registration, it will be passed because it will serve as a personal identity also of the person na meron ito. The technology wrought ease of communication but also created a concomitant vulnerability of its privacy. That is why the Republic Act 4200 or the anti-wiretapping law was enacted to protect the privacy of communication. So which means that it is unlawful to secretly overhear, intercept, or record a communication or spoken word. It is also unlawful for any person to knowingly possess any record of such communication or spoken word, or to replay, communicate the contents, or furnish transcriptions to any other person. So, in the Philippines, there are various laws which regulate communication surveillance. This includes the anti-wiretapping law, as what I have mentioned, RA 4200. Next is the Anti-Photo and Voyeurism Act of 2009, or the RA number 9995. The Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, or the RA 10175. The Human Security Act of 2007, or the RA number 9372. So, etong nasa picture po ay mga examples ng anti-wiretapping, tsaka yung pagre-record po ng mga videos or pagkuha ng mga larawan na hindi naman without the consent of the person is already a crime. And familiar kayo dun sa kay President Duterte's war on drugs, napakaraming pagbabatikos ito from the CHR, and kasi nga lahat ng mga drug lords that time or under surveillance. Now let's go to the SWOT analysis of the Article 3. It is the situational assessment and analysis of the technique. So the strengths of this law is that the right to privacy puts you on the driver's seats of your life. So we can ensure that we have the control of our data. The privacy rights prevent the government from spying on people without cause, and those who steal or misuse data are held accountable. The weakness of this is it is easier for people to assume the identity of someone else. So, identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in the world today, and part of it is due to the levels of internet privacy that currently exist. So, isang example nito is pag na-hack yung account mo sa Facebook, for example. So, or else may mga taong iba yung intensyon. So, lahat ng same thing with the idea of posers. Yun. Ito yun siya. Kasi kinukuha niya, ginagaya niya, and he will make a Facebook account na akala na ginagaya ka niya. So, something like that. The opportunities of this law is that fast solution for crimes and threats to society. Kasi mas mabilis nating malalaman o ma-search yung mga kriminal, and fast solution for crimes because if may order ng korte, we can have the video record as an evidence. The threats for this are politics and hacking. Now let's go to Article 3, Section 4. No law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government to redress of grievances. So, ano ba yung idea ng Section 4? means that the freedom of expression is said to be essential for the search of truth and in the promotion of individual self-realization and self-determination, sabi ni Bernas ng 2009. The freedom to express one's belief and thoughts is the foundation of democracy, and efforts to suppress such liberty pose a significant threat to a society. So meaning nito is that kasi nga nasa democratic state tayo, so we have always the freedom of or the liberty to say, write, disseminate, and publish freely whatever we want to without the interference and fear of subsequent prosecution or punishment for doing it. So, sometimes ito ay through published articles like books, magazines, newspapers, and social media accounts. Malaya tayong nakakapagpahayag ng ating mga damdamin gamit ating social media. And through radio and television broadcasting. So, but this law, itong karapatan na ito ay nag-end if you're going to start to violate the right of other person. For example, defamation means saying or writing something about another person that hurts her reputation. So, ito ay isang napakahalagang usapin at napakaraming nakaka-experience nito as makikita natin sa iba't ibang social media accounts. Now, there are two forms of defamation, which is the libel, yung writing or publish, and the slander na through spoken words or yung verbal. Now, kaya with the use of the social media, that is why the cyber libel case has developed. So, it is a cyber libel is when a defamatory statement is made online or through social media accounts. So, cyber libel is a term when someone has posted or emailed something that is untrue and damaging about someone else on the internet, including in message boards, bulletin boards, blogs, chat rooms, or personal websites, social media, social networking sites, and other published articles. So, the cybercrime law imposed penalties 1 degree higher for the offenses under it. So, from an original penalty of 6 years, cyber libel was now imposed as a penalty of up to 12 years and fines ranging from 40,000 to 1.2 million pesos. So, yun. Napakadaling manghusga. But, hindi talaga tama kapag pinopost natin sa iba't ibang social media accounts. So, we will be held accountable for that. The freedom of speech is a right and such is not absolute. And because of the technologies like the cell phones and other gadgets, we can see sometimes the lack of discipline of most Filipinos in general. So they have the power, they have the guts to say what they want to say, and then they post it if they want to post it on social media, in the internet, and are oblivious of the effect that they can have on each other. So, abuse of such as preceding propaganda, malicious gossips, and hate speeches. Also, the mass media, alam naman natin, is the most frequent violator sometimes because they display bias, serve as a tool for swaying the public opinion as well as destroying the reputation of others. So, the internet has thrown up to its set of challenges such as hate speech, verbal abuse of women, and the use of internet to spread rumors and violence, and these are all needs our urgent attentions. The SWOT analysis of this law is that ang strengths niya lets you engage freely in politics, pwede kang magsalita ng inyong opinion, and then the freedom of expression can make peaceful and positive changes in society. And it also has effect on socialization because through social media and other variety of amazing apps, we can express ourselves through photos, videos, and write articles on websites. Now, the weakness of this law is that people can often confuse freedom of expression when being able to say and believe everything. So, akala natin lahat ng pinopost na dito sa social media are totoo. And familiar ba kayo sometimes nung the COVID-19 pandemic na maraming mga taong nagpo-post with regards to the response of the government sa ating current situation. So, mayroon doon mga nare-red tag, yung mga ganun na makikita natin sa social media. Then also, forcing many people amazing talents that related to expressing themselves, but many people can use this to get profits in illegal way. So, pagpapahayag natin, minsan, nagagamit pa siya para kumita yung iba, 'di ba? Sometimes yung mga marites natin dyan, and they post something na we get to be curious of, and then sila yung nagigain because sinishare natin yung mga post nila, and they get revenue from it. The opportunities of this law is that they express themselves freely and earn money. Threats, freedom of expression can lead to violence. So, when your ideas or choices aren't heard by other people, it may lead to one getting angry and not being able to control emotions. And this person may hate other people in frustration. That's why marami tayong naririnig na mga crimes involving na pinagsalitaan siya ng ganito, and then nagalit yung isa, and then hanggang sa lumaki yung away nila. From the palitan ng post, from side to side sa social media, hanggang umabot na sila sa korte, yung mga ganong cases. So, marami tayong realizations. We have a lot of realizations sa aming pagtatalakay sa dalawang law na ito. So, we have the freedom of speech and expression promotes free exchange of ideas, the ideas of every individual. We can share perspective and creates more learning opportunities. Kasi napakarami talaga nating malalaman gamit ang technology, ang cellphone. The freedom of speech and expression can spread false information and outright lies, so we must always have to think properly what we are going to say. So, dapat hindi natin agad-agad paniniwalaan kung ano yung mga nakikita natin unless those were coming from the government agencies, yon. So, the freedom of speech and expression allow us to make up our minds about what to share to others, especially on social media. And every aspect of our life is not transparent, so hindi natin kailangan ipakita lahat. Okay, so we should be responsible in doing so. So, to end my discussion, so I have my final assessment. Technology is evolving so fast because of the phenomenon known as accelerating change. Each technological improvement can create the next stronger generations of technology at a faster rate. As of the moment, we increase our dependency on this technology. We rely on it out to carry out a variety of different processes and functions. And as we depend on it more, we also input more and more data into technological systems such as personal information, our location, and other confidential informations, which can be hacked into and misused. This rapid change should be paired with careful considerations of effects on humanity. So that would be all for our presentation. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope na marami po kayong natutunan sa aming presentation. Thank you so much and God bless you all.